Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Q&A here on the Dice Tower with Tom Vasel. I do this every Monday, usually at noon. We are 1 week away from the Spring Spectacular. So this is time for you to ask questions, which I may or may not answer, but I'll try to answer a lot of questions, see how many I can get through today. I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's spring is really close. Technically, I start the Spring Spectacular next week, which is the first day of spring. But I can see how many parts of the world do not consider it to be spring yet. Daylight savings time has hit us, which I did not even know was controversial, by the way. Last week on Board Game Breakfast on Thursday, I said something like, I'm going to get all political and we should come together as a country and just stay on daylight savings time forever. And I thought that that was a fairly innocuous thing. In fact, Mr. Bonker said, who's against it? And I was like, oh, only old people, mocking Mr. Bonacor. But apparently, some people do not want daylight savings time to go away, and I offended those people, which goes to show you, you can offend pretty much anybody any at a time, so be careful what you say. So, alrighty. So let's see here what questions y'all have. As a society, can we form some sort of board game council and force publishers to use... I know what you're trying to say. No, the answer is no. We can't force publishers to do anything. And I don't know that I would want publishers to be forced to do things. I think publishers should do things because it makes sense. Like, for example, standardizing box sizes. If I was a publisher, I would look and see what the standard box sizes are and try to adhere to that. That sort of thing. Any thoughts on Grammy Awards and Oscar nominations? I know nothing of either, but I'm going to guess that the Oscar nominations must have just happened, so I'll quick pull that up and look. I usually I don't... Let's see, Oscar nomination list. I probably haven't seen any of the movies. Best Picture: The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, The Trial, Chicago 7. Yep, I didn't see any of those. I don't even know if I'm gonna see any of those. Best Director, haven't seen any of those. Best Actor, haven't seen any of those. Best Actress, I haven't seen any of those. Best Actor in a Supporting Role, nope. Best Actress in a Supporting Role, no. Best Animated Feature Film. Oh, these I've seen. Onward. I don't think I've seen Over the Moon or Shaun the Sheep movie Farmageddon. I've seen Soul and Onward. Wolfwalkers. I haven't seen that either. I've only seen 2 of those. Best Original Song. Nope, don't know any of those. Best Original Scores. Man, this is not doing well. Let's go to Best Costume Design. Man, I'm just noticing I haven't seen many movies this year. Alrighty, well then I have pretty much no comments to make. Sorry everybody, that's not very helpful. You're going to have to go to someone who's actually knowledgeable about movies. What is the Spring Spectacular? The Spring Spectacular is one of 4 different weekly shows, a week-long show of 4 days, actually, that we're going to put on. We did 2 last year. We did the Summer Spectacular, which we initially did as a replacement for Dice Tower Convention. But I like the concept of it, so we did a Winter Spectacular, and I like the concept of it so much, we're doing it again. This is not to replace a convention at all. Conventions are amazing and awesome, but this is hopefully a concentrated, fun, entertaining online event for you to watch where we put out a lot of fun, interesting content. And we're trying to give each spectacular a bit of a spin. So, this coming Spring Spectacular, we're going to announce the Dice Tower Award nominations, and then we'll do the Dice Tower winners in our Summer Spectacular. So the nominations will be announced. Mike DeLisio is doing his top 50 games of all time. We're going to do a joint top 10 list of the top 10 games everyone should play at least once. And we're going to do a We're going to play through several different games. I have a whole list of games. We'll release that list soon. We're just finalizing it now, and we should have it up in a day or two. What is your guess on the number of named hurricanes this year? We had a lot last year, right? I think we went through the alphabet twice. So I'll say it will be lower this year. We'll have 30. That's still a lot. Why is Machikoro Legacy back on the wall? Is there something new? No, I can put any game on the wall I want. But Pandasar sponsors our show, so I figured I'd put one of their games there. How is your dog doing? Taking training classes. Good and no. Have you found a new studio yet? Well, we're in the process. I know it's kind of vague, and I'll give you more information, but things are looking promising at this point in time. So I'm just still working on some stuff. I got some forms and things I got to fill out today. And once I know that more, and I see something else I need to call and do. Good. So, yeah, I'm very happy with some of the things that I'm working on right now. That's all I can say, but things look good. As we get closer and once things are signed and things like that, I'll give you all more information. Tom, what is the Dice Tower planning to review Red Rising? Well, I have no plans. I mean, we'll review it at some point. Any reason why the review wasn't produced early at the same time as the other reviewers? We just didn't get the game. So that's basically why we haven't reviewed it yet. We'll review it when we get it. I love the live videos the Dice Tower does. I understand why you can't do live videos every day, while you do have those most days. Have you thought about doing premieres on some of your videos? We thought about it, but I'm still not sold on the premiere of a video. I mean, I get why people do it, but I don't necessarily have the time to sit and watch my own videos live. When we're doing them, that's one thing, but to produce it and record it ahead of time and then sit down and watch with people, it seems like that would be extra work, and it makes it feel like a live video, but it's not actually. We might do them someday, but I don't know. Would you consider putting a Dice Tower Seal of Excellence on a pie? Yes. Maybe if they paid you in pie. You don't need to pay. I would put it on a pie. As Jimmy gets older and bigger, has he started to out-eat any of his siblings? No. I'm still not sure how the boy survives on the amount of food he eats, because he eats very, very little. What are you most looking forward to in the Spring Spectacular? No, I don't know. I don't really have anything in particular. I'm just looking forward to doing it because we do enjoy putting these on. They're a lot of work, and a lot of the work is happening right now. You know, preparation, video work, and everything. A lot of that work's ahead of time. Do you like Taco Bell? Sure. What game mechanism has made the biggest impact on modern board games? Collectible card games. Now I'm starting to think I'm being trolled. I really feel like I'm being trolled at this point in time. Because this is definitely what we talked about in Board Game Breakfast. Who's the best Muppet? Ralph the dog. What's my favorite tower defense game? Well, the one I play the most here on my iPad, I really like it, is, what's it called? Dungeon... You think I would know more about Dungeon Warfare 2. I don't know why I like that one so much. Just, of course, it's just also one that I picked. So, you know, there could be other ones that are better. But I really like Dungeon Warfare 2. Will you be doing a review or live play of Key to the TARDIS? Yes to the review, no live play, for sure. I only do live plays of games that I either know are good or think are good. Hi, Tom. I understand you enjoy your hot sauces, but what food do you eat them with? I can only think of a burrito or something. Really? Oh, no. You can eat... Literally, it's hard for me to think of foods that I would not put hot sauce on. I'm not saying I put hot sauce on everything. I don't. But hot sauce goes on pizza, on burritos. It goes on spaghetti. It goes on pretty much any pasta dish. It can go on any rice dish. It can go on a hamburger, a hot dog. Any sandwich can have hot sauce added to it. I put hot sauce on my coleslaw because of the combination of the cool coleslaw and the hot sauce is a really cool mixture there. Yeah, maybe it could be an American thing. I don't know. But we definitely, if you like hot sauce, a lot of people put hot sauce on everything. Are you ready to sticker over 300 meeples for the new Everdell Complete Collection? I don't know. Did my gift for Mike arrive at the studio? He is wrong, never forget. I don't think so. I would have noticed that. Do you think the second edition of Suburbia renders the collector's edition obsolete? I don't think anything renders anything obsolete. You can always play with the old stuff. Did you have a hard time coming up with names for your many kids? No. I mean, you would need thousands of kids, I guess, before you had a hard time coming up with names. I've only had 7. Any news on a second Dice Tower retreat? No, I don't have news yet, but we are looking at a date in November, likely the second week of November. I have a location, but I'm not saying it yet because we are still working out the details for it. But the chance of it happening is highly likely at this point in time. Has the new marble racetrack arrived? It has indeed. Not only has it arrived, I've set it up and went through it multiple times. I just did it the other day so I could record some footage with it for our new intro. We will not be using the new marble track tomorrow and shoot some marbles, but we will be using it next week. It's here, it's ready to go. Is that Publix water? That is Publix water. Unfortunately, we ran out of our big bottled water that we have a water cooler thing, and it gets delivered once a month. And now that Chris is here, we're drinking more water as a whole, so I have timed it incorrectly, and it's coming tomorrow. So in the meantime, I went and bought a couple cases of water. These feel like a waste to me, though. I don't like them because it's all this plastic. Like when I drink out of the other thing, we just refill it, right? But it is what it is. That's how we had to get water. Good to hear the vague good news about the studio. Yeah, well, it is going to be vague good news for now. When it is permanent good news, believe me, folks, you will know. We'll make a big deal about it. Did I see Dice character stickers on a car in the DoorDash game review? And I guess that driver must have been a Dice Tower fan. Because definitely you can, having Dice Tower stickers on your car makes it a lot easier to find in a parking lot, for sure. Movie awards like what you just read seem so obscure to many people unless you are into following them. Do you think this is the same for the best board games list to a non-gamer? You know, we've talked about this before, and I'm not convinced that it's not a correlation. And the reason for that is I firmly and strongly believe that if everybody played many of the games that were nominated for Best Game of the Year, they would really enjoy them. They just have a hard time getting the word out. It's hard to break the barrier of that Dr. Smelly Poops, the game, that's super popular, or whatever the new dumb game that's popular is. But I think these games would be popular. While the Oscar-rated movies, even if everyone on Earth was forced to watch them, they would still rather watch the Avengers, I think. And I think that you can like a lot of good movies and still like popcorn movies, while you might not, as a gamer, you're likely not going to win. You're not going to like these mass market games for the most part. I think the correlation's a little bit there, but it's not quite the same thing. How come I can't buy a Dice Tower Dice Tower? You can buy a Dice Tower Dice Tower. Dice Tower, Kickstarter.com. We're going to be launching our Pledge Manager hopefully this week, actually. What pie did you have on Pie Day? Folks, I am ashamed to say I had no pie on Pie Day, and it's my own fault. So I took two of my children out. We went shopping on Saturday, and we were out, and we stopped to get some shaved ice because shaved ice is amazing. And across the way, there was this donut place I'd never seen before. I believe it was called Honeybee Donuts. So I went in and looked, and these were amazing looking donuts, gorgeous donuts. So I said, hey, we'll buy these for breakfast on Sunday. So I did. I bought some donuts for breakfast. We came back, and I ate one of those donuts, and I'm still sugared up from that donut. I've never had such pure sugar in a donut. I felt so guilty about it. And then, after eating the donut, I was surfing that, and I was like, oh, it's Pie Day. I can't eat pie after eating that donut. I can't even eat pie today after eating that donut. Saddens me, but whatever. I'll make up for it later. How do you feel about playmats replacing the board in board games? I love using playmats. Not always, but most of the time, yes. Falcon or the Winter Soldier. I'll pick Falcon in that regard. But I'm very much looking forward to that show. I mean, you can watch that or the Snyder Cut. Ooh, that's going to be a tough choice for my family. Let's see here. How can I best donate my copy of Evolution with all the expansion included to the Jack Vest Memorial Fund? Oh, well, right now is a good time to do that. You can do that by going to Board Game Geek. There is an auction there, and you can put it up for auction. And if you can restrict to who could be sold, sure, you can put that stuff in the description of the video there. That's the best way to do it, and I'm glad you asked me now, because now is the time you can put it up on that auction. I highly recommend that to everyone to go check that auction out. It's running right now. If you go to BoardGameGeek.com, it's right there on the main page. Hot sauce on eggs, hot sauce on ramen, yes. Not on hot fudge sundaes, come on. Mac and cheese, yes. Just give me some crushed red pepper on Italian dishes. Sure, but crushed red pepper is a little boring. Although, I bought some crushed red pepper. Let me see if I can give you the name of it. I got some specialized crushed red pepper. I saw an ad for it, and it was, let me see if I can find the name for it. Flatiron. Flatiron Pepper Company. They do really good crushed red peppers. Their tagline is, "You'll never go back to generic red pepper flakes," and I agree. So there are three main ones that they have. They have, let me see if I can pull this over here. They have their 4-pepper blend, which is a mixture of Arbol, Ghost, Habanero, Jalapeno, and it's not nearly as hot as it sounds. They have their Hatch Valley Green, which I like, but the best one they have is Dark and Smoky, which is Chipotle, Ancho, and Habanero. A really good combo. They got one here called I Can't Feel My Face. I haven't tried that one. They have one here called Asian Reds. I think I'm going to try that one. There's a barbecue rub. I'm actually almost out of these. I need to refill on them. But I'm telling you, it's Flatiron Pepper Company, and they are vastly superior to generic red pepper flakes. I was really impressed with them, and they're good on a lot of foods. What difficulty do I play Sleeping Gods? Easy, of course. Tom has no taste buds? No, that's not true. I don't put hot sauce in it. I don't put like crazy hot sauce on foods anymore anyway. I'm not there for the heat. I'm there for the flavor. I pick hot sauces that have delicious flavor. Any big Easter plans? Not currently. I asked my pastor today, but I actually, it was like a brief in passing, so I don't really know what the plans are for Easter right now. If a rating goes up on a game, could it get a retroactive seal? Sure. That's happened a few times. There's a lot of people, so I'm gonna just slough off all these questions. If you ask me anything about any Kickstarters, we talk about Kickstarters in our crowd surfing show each Wednesday. And if you ask me my opinion on games, I do reviews on games. So that kind of sloughs a lot. Like if you're like, what do you think of this game? Well, I've either reviewed it or I haven't reviewed it, and I will review it, unless in which case sometimes that doesn't happen, and I might answer that. But usually I'm gonna push those things to those things. So I'm not saying the same stuff all the time. What are the top couple of things you reasonably hope to improve with the pending move to a new studio? The number one thing that we're excited about is having the library in the same place as the studio. That allows us to go grab games immediately and to be constantly, in the games, and it will help things tremendously in that regard. Secondly, we need more space. We're going to go from having 2 recording studios to 3, which is good since everybody is recording these days. There's a lot of recording going on. More space in general is a good thing. And making it ours. We're renting this place, and our landlords have been fantastic, letting us, put some stuff up, but none of it is permanent because it's not our place. Am I a fan of corned beef and cabbage? Sure. I don't love it. It's fine. Is it too late to sign up for the September Dice Tower retreat? It's close to being too late. But if your name is Ken Parker, you can email Kenny at dicetower.com, and he'll probably slide you in. How does a kid's game get kid approved? What's the difference between a regular seal of approval and a kid's one? No, I give out the kid seals of approval. I just mean it's approved for kids. And the reason I do that differently is because I want people to look at it and say that's good for kids. And because I would probably not give a seal of approval to it unless you play it with kids. That's more specifically what it is. Like, I wouldn't play this game with adults, but with kids, it's a great game. Do you find it weird being asked questions that have nothing to do with board games? I do not find that weird. In fact, I find that slightly refreshing. Am I allergic to anything? I don't know. I suspect I am, but I wouldn't know what it is. What's your favorite marble name so wrong? Probably Snot Rocket. I think for the next Winter Spectacular, you guys should make a giant marble track out of ice. You do know where we live, right? That would last for about 3 seconds. Will you give the old marble race track a big send-off and will it involve fire? Look, that's like looking in the future. But I will say, folks, come watch Shoots and Marbles tomorrow, Fiery Inferno. That's the last race currently with the current Dice Tower track. Will the new season begin right after Spring Spectacular, or will there be an off season? There will be a new season for Spring Spectacular, after Spring Spectacular. We're going to keep running the Shoots and Marbles because they're fun. Would you say you've refused to review more games because it conflicts with operating a family-friendly channel or because the rule books are awful? Probably I've refused more for rule books are awful because hopefully most of the people who make the non-family friendly games don't email us. But it still happens. I'll still get an email that says, hey, the Dice Tower, do you think Cards Against Humanity is too soft? We've taken it up a notch. This game's amazing. It's so filthy you can't even say this stuff out loud. That happens more often than you might think. If you and 2 others in a 4 squares gave a game a 2 or a 3, but one person said it was a 9, would you be tempted to override that one person? I would not. And again, I'd like to refer you to Board Game Breakfast this morning where I specifically covered that. Are you looking forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier? I am. They didn't have anything this past week, so I watched the making of WandaVision, which was very enjoyable. I like seeing how they make things. But I'm really looking forward to the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Where's a good place to get key lime pie in Orlando? I don't know. I live in Miami area. Oh, I guess Publix. That's true. Publix is in Orlando, and Publix makes a very decent key lime pie. What is shaved ice? Oh, well, it's like, I don't know how to explain it to someone who's never had it. It's like a snow cone, but it's just ice. It's smoother than ice. There's all different versions of shaved ice. Some of it you actually shave it off with a spoon as you eat it, like Italian ice. Very similar to that, an Italian ice, but it's soft and again, it's closer to a snow cone. In this particular instance, it was closer to a snow cone than not. And then you just pick different flavors. So we got, me and the kids, we were eating together. We got a bubble gum, key lime, and lemon. We each picked a flavor. So my son picked bubble gum, my daughter picked lemon, I picked key lime. And then somehow gummy bears and nerds got onto it. I did not eat the gummy bears because there's a level I'm not going to go to. I did have the nerds in it, though. Nerds in a snow cone type thing. It's quite good. But also, I was wide awake on the way home. Woohoo! By the way, a lot of people also asking questions like for me to recommend a game. So I'll give my standard spiel here. I can't recommend games for you. Or let me rephrase that. I won't recommend games for you because I can't. I don't know you. I don't know all the details about you. I don't know your price range. I don't know your economic situation. I don't know what games you like, what themes you like, what you don't like. And specifically, I don't want to know all that information. I know that information about some of my good friends. Your best bet is for you to find the game that's recommended. People are like, can you recommend a game? I'm not looking at anything here, so I'm not speaking about anyone specifically, but they'll say, can you recommend a game that's good for 5 players that's deduction? Well, happily, you can look up deduction games on the internet, find them, and then you go watch the reviews of those. Look and see how many players they come up. Look for the highest ranked ones. That's your best bet. Because what you do when you ask somebody else to do all that, you're basically saying, I want you to be a personal shopper for me, without really knowing me, and that's dangerous. I wouldn't want someone else to go out and buy me a tie necessarily. I would pick the tie out myself. Oh, let me rephrase that. You can guys send me ties. I'll wear them. But you want to do a little bit of that yourself. That's the whole reason we do reviews. But if people ignore my reviews and just come to me and say, just tell me a good game, I can't really do that, and I won't even try. So those kind of questions I tend to skip when someone says, can you recommend something based on this, this, and this? No. However, I will say that groupthink works for that. If you go to the internet, Dice Tower Facebook group, and say that same question, like, I'm looking for a 2-player game to play with my spouse that involves deduction and this, and put it out there, you'll get lots of good answers. That's a much better way. Then when you get those answers, then you can go watch the reviews on those answers and see which one works best for you. I know this is a me problem, but I struggle to not get annoyed when people are just messing around when playing a game. Any thoughts or advice? I feel you on that one. I think you should have lots of fun when playing a game, and you can be silly and all that. But when people are ignoring the game and fooling around, and just especially when you're trying to teach the game, that can be annoying. But you're gonna have to decide how annoying that is for you. Someone just asked this. Did you watch the behind the scenes of WandaVision on Disney Plus yet? Yes. Yeah, that was interesting. And one of the facts that was brought up is they brought in a real live audience for the live shows and just let them laugh and stuff at the different moments. I thought that was really interesting that they did that. There was a lot of cool things. Like I said, I love behind the scenes stuff. I like how they do it, especially after you've seen it already. Would you recommend playing Cantaloupe Book 1 now or waiting until the series is complete to avoid cliffhangers? It's not a cliffhanger. Let me explain. So in Cantaloupe, you are seeking revenge against some guy who put you in prison or something like that. So you want to rob this guy. So you are putting together a team of people to rob this guy. The book ends when you put this team together. That's not a spoiler. There's no spoiler story here. It's spoiler and how you do that. I'm guessing in part 2, you rob the guy. It's not, I just play them one at a time. There was no, when I got to the end, I was like, oh man, but I wanted to play some more, but I didn't feel like I was cheated out of the game at all. I've been meaning to ask you, how do you sleep train your kids? Oh, well, with our babies, and I'm not saying, again, to be clear, I'm not saying I'm any kind of expert here. I'm saying this is what we did with 7 of our children, and it worked with 7 of our children, is we fed our kids every 2 hours, and then every 3 hours. 2 hours, I think, the first 2 weeks, and then it's 3 hours, and it's 4 hours. I don't remember. My wife knew the schedule better than me. We fed them on schedule. 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. And then we fed them at 9 o'clock at night, and we put them to bed. I think that's right? 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9. Yeah, so at 9 o'clock at night, we fed them, we put them in bed, but we did not wake them up at midnight. We waited until they woke up on their own and then fed them. And never woke them up, just let them sleep, and they got longer and longer and longer, and eventually they slept through the whole night. I don't know. That's what someone told us, and it worked really well. And then, once they start sleeping through the night, after like a month of that, you got no option. You sleep through the night. You wake up middle of the night, we check, is everything okay? Okay, go back to sleep. Oh, you won't go back to sleep? You'll keep crying? Not a problem. That's why doors were created. We close your door, we close my door, we sleep fine. It's real hard at first, but you get over it real quick. What is the appeal of hot sauce? I never find that hot sauce has flavor. It's just a punch to the face. Well, most hot sauces aren't that hot. They have a little bit of a kick to them, but if you have good hot sauces, they have really good flavor. If hot sauce is just a punch to the face, then either hot sauce is not for you, perhaps, or you're having these really, really super hot sauces, which I don't see any reason to do those. For HeroScape, any particular sets that are my favorite? Well, the Marvel one I liked a lot. But I'm actually, as we speak right now, my kids are packing up HeroScape. I'm slowly starting to pack up the studio here. We're sorting things out, putting things together, getting things ready to go. And HeroScape is one of the first things to get packed up here. So we're slowly packing things up. There's a lot of stuff laying around the studio that's been all over the place. And yeah, I don't necessarily know if I have any favorite sets. I wouldn't even remember what stuff's from what set anyway. So you didn't buy stuff in sets anyway. You bought it like in little blister packs, so you just get a few things here and there. What's your favorite game to play with painted minis? Arcadia Quest, maybe? I really like the painted miniatures in that one. What Disney Plus Marvel show are you most anticipating? Loki. How are the restrictions in your area these days? Well, we live in Florida, which is more open than most states, but Miami is more restricted than most places in Florida. So everyone here wears a mask everywhere that's inside a building somewhere. So like if you go to church, well, I don't know if every church does, our church does. If you go to a store anywhere, to a restaurant, you have to wear a mask. At a restaurant, you wear a mask till they bring you your drink, and then you can take the mask off. Outside, you don't have to wear a mask. I mean, as long as you're not around other people. And, yeah, but I mean, like, everything's open. Well, I shouldn't say everything, but pretty much everything's open. Yeah, just everyone wear masks. That's basically the main difference. And not everywhere. I mean, people are playing sports without masks, I guess. And I think you have to wear a mask when you go work out. I'm not sure. But like if when I walk around the neighborhood with my dog, I don't wear a mask. But I'm not around anybody when I do it either. But things are getting better. People are getting vaccinated like all get out. I know more people who have been vaccinated every day, so. Will the new place have a shed? We shall see. You love Delay of Game. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Is it going to always be with Tim? Yep, that's a series with Tim. Is the plan for the new studio location that the Dice Tower owns? Yes. I thought there was a retreat planned for November. I am planning one for November, and if you're interested in that, email me at tom@dicetower.com, and I'll put you on the list. That's a second retreat. The first retreat is in September, but that retreat is mostly full already because we had it scheduled for last year, and so we've rolled over most of those people. What game is your favorite playmat to use? Rising Sun is probably it. Have you read the Red Rising series? I have. And I've already answered the other question. Has the Plans Employees expansion for Tapestry changed your opinion much of the game? No. It might even have lowered it slightly. Don't understand me correctly. I don't know that I dislike Tapestry. I like Tapestry. It's a fine game. It's fun. It's interesting. I didn't think it was the next thing since sliced bread, but it was fun. There's a lot of good things about it. But I will say that when I got that expansion, the fact that there was such drastic changes to the civilizations, that bothers me some. I get that not everything is balanced out the gate. I'm not going to claim to be a great balancer, But some of these things were vastly outbalanced. And some of them, in particular, I remember when I got the two things in, we had the futurists and whatever, another race, I forget what it was. And I looked at them and I said, these seem way out of balance. But, what do I know? I'm just starting to play, so I always take that with a grain of salt. Like, this one really seems more powerful than this one. Lo and behold, I was right. They dropped the power of one and raised the power of the other, immensely raised the power of the other one. And I'm thinking, well, if I saw that at a glance, and I just assumed I was wrong when I saw it, but I was right. If I saw it at a glance, then how did that get through? So this expansion here's how to fix all those original different civilizations, and that bugs me a bit. Not that they fixed them, I'm all for that, but that they were fixed so dramatically. And the one you get like 40 points. That's a pretty terrible civ, and I don't even want to play those civs then either. If my civ has a pretty boring power, or a bad power essentially, but I get an extra 30, 40 points, that just feels like you're giving me a handicap. I'm just not as interested in that. What's the best nacho topping? Cheese. I mean, how are we even arguing this? Would you rather cook a steak on the barbecue, in the pan, on a sear, in the oven, or the reverse sear? I like it on the grill. Any songs that stuck in your head? Oh my. Songs get stuck in my head all the time. I watched a movie with my family over the weekend that had the song I'm a Gummy Bear in it, and that got stuck in my head. And Agatha, it was Agatha All Along, just different songs, and it'll get stuck in my head over and over and over again, so I play them. What book am I reading at the moment? I'm reading a series called hang on one second here. I am reading. I was actually pretty happy about my reading. I'm reading The Warrior's Tale. It's from a series called The Far Kingdoms. But I was actually pretty excited because I was looking at my reading insights yesterday. And so I have read 138 weeks in a row and 37 days in a row. For some reason, I did not read on February 6th. I didn't read on January 16th, and there were 3 days in January I did not read. I know why I was. Well, I wonder why I didn't read 3 days in a row. I read all. I didn't miss I missed the 18th in December. I missed a couple days in October. I read all September. A couple days in July. I don't know. I've enjoyed that, but I haven't missed a week in 138 weeks, so that feels pretty good. I'm almost 3 years. Geek-Up Bits are coming for Tapestry, Dice Throne, and the crew. I like Geek-Up Bits for everything, so I'd be happy with any game they come from. Do you play any musical instruments? I can play the piano a little. Where does Jimmy get his red hair? Well, my mom had flaming red hair, so probably from her. How did you propose to your wife? It was right before a musical concert we were going to, and I just got down on one knee and asked her. And it wasn't any grandiose spectacle, which is really weird because you think of all the people, I would be somebody to do that. And I really thought I would. But to my wife, it was more important that it be a surprise. So I just waited till a day she did not expect it at all. And that was a bigger deal to her than some fancy, big romantic thing. There you go. I didn't even goof off at the wedding. Of course, my mom threatened me with death if I did. Is there a Foursquare review coming this week? There is. Cryo. Cryo's coming from Foursquares this week. I really like the back of your laptop. Yeah, isn't that nice? Here, we'll take this off real quick. Yeah, this is the background that Tina made. Some people are getting a puzzle for this from her Kickstarter. I think that's going to be a really fun puzzle. Would you recommend WandaVision to a casual Marvel fan? I don't think so. Not unless you watched at least the Infinity War Endgame. Do you ever get recognized in public away from board gaming events? Very rarely. Sometimes, but very rarely. I was in Orlando at a pizza place, and the guy said, "Are you Tom Vasel?" And I said, "How do you know?" Because I was wearing a mask, but he said it was because of the suspenders. And I wasn't wearing a hat. So no hat and a mask. I was like, how did someone know? Okay, you know what? Come to think of it, I was probably wearing a Dice Tower mask. Do you sleeve any of your games in the library? Some of them are sleeved in the library, but not all of them. Do you know what day next week your Nexus Op review will be? No, Nexus Op is happening this week. I don't know what day it is, and that's a Catch-A-Palooza. Did you notice that the sun rose at the correct time yesterday? No. Do you agree that in the recent years there's no good fast-paced card game like Seven Wonders, Dominion, or Race for the Galaxy? No, I do not agree on that. Do you think the hype train of new board games is slowing down? Oh, no, it's not. No way. Let's see here. Do you try out games, books that fans recommend for you? Sometimes, but I get recommended not games almost never. And I don't mean that to be rude. It's just someone will say, hey, you should play this game. And I'm thinking, well, maybe. But I have hundreds of games sitting here on the shelf, so they take priority. For books, sometimes that I take recommendations from books. But even though I'm a speed reader and read a lot, there's still only so many books you can read. What game table manner annoys you the most? I think someone on their phone. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand sometimes you need to check your phone for whatever, and sometimes someone at the table is just really slow and boring, and so everyone's on their phone while that person's taking their turn. But for the most part, someone who's on their phone the whole time, you're not with me. You're not really paying attention to what I'm saying. Okay, look, I'm just spoiling it right now. This game here, this Doctor Who game is garbage. Do not even slightly think it's good. I'm going to trash this game. It's awful. It is a kid's game masquerading as an adult game. It's terrible. Not putting it up there anymore. I am tempting people with Doctor Who, the cool theme, and a terrible game. That game is awful. My buddy found a game he loves, and he wants to play it every time he comes over and over. Other people don't really want to. Should I gift it to him? There you go. Sounds like a great solution. No, I'm not getting rid of HeroScape. I'm just putting it in a box. That's all. The truffle hot sauce. Yeah, I heard those were good. I haven't tried them. What are your top 5 breakfast meals you would order in a restaurant? Well, Eggs Benedict for one. And we'll pretend that I don't have this thing about breakfast for now. But Eggs Benedict, an omelet, a bowl, breakfast bowl. That's it, those 3. Then maybe turkey and rice and spaghetti. No, I don't order spaghetti at restaurants normally. A hamburger maybe. Is Marvel approaching Cthulhu in terms of being slapped on every game? Well, no, because the Cthulhu license is free, while Marvel is an 18% of your game cost, or whatever the percentage is, but it's pretty high. Tom, what's your favorite pitch car expansion? You might be surprised, but I think it's the long straights. Those long straight tiles. After that, it's the jumps. I love the jumps. I just switched my Amazon Smile charity to the Jack Vasel Fund. Thanks. Yeah, a lot of people, that's an easy thing to do. Do you all homeschool? Yes, we do. Would you bring back the Deep Dive series? Maybe, but I can only do so many series at any given point. And we're doing full froth on a lot of series right now. So I'm just going to stay where we're at. I usually add series. Maybe eventually let series go by the wayside. Maybe we'll bring them back, but no guarantees. There's nothing new coming for a while other than the new series we started. The next big thing you can look forward to besides the Spring Spectacular will be the behind-the-scenes videos, because when we move into the studio, we're going to show you what it's like to move into a studio, and hopefully you enjoyed those videos. Any thoughts on the new Unmatched characters from the fan contest? I think they all sound cool. I'm very much looking forward to them. Good morning, donated $9.99 through Super Chat. Thank you. I'll try to get to that before I end. Am I going to do a review for Dominant Species Marine? I don't know anything about that. Thank you, Cameron. I can't read what it says there. I'm going to have to go down and get to these. I had too many cooks stuck in my head all day yesterday. Yeah. Kids tend to judge board games simply by how fun they are and not try to fit in some big picture. I agree. Kids just look at games to see if they're fun. But I think we try to do that in the Dice Tower in general. The Conjunction Junction covered by the group couch. Am I missing something? There's like a bunch of super chats. I need to slide down here and see all these super chats. I must be really far behind. And I apologize for, oh, here we are. So Brian says, are you going to review another Glorious Day in the Core? Probably not, because it requires me to put miniatures together. So I am so very much opposed to that. How do you get someone to competitive games versus co-op? My wife hates competing. Well, then I would not make her do it. I don't push anyone to do it. Jen Wu says, thanks for taking the time answering the questions. Good luck with the studio search and move. Well, thank you. It is our pleasure. I must have missed some other super chats because I saw a whole pile come through. Are they repeating each other? Where are these other ones I missed? Oh, that's weird. Am I missing something, or am I being trolled here? I saw Brian Flemings and Genway. Well, the other ones haven't come through here. I'm going to have to go to the YouTube page and look at them real quick, because they're not showing up through eCam. There we go. I got that super chat and I got that one. Huh. I'm not sure why all these other super chats are showing up. Banana peppers are the best. Where are these? Is it like just randomly showing super chats from anywhere? That's weird. I feel like there's some... Olive Garden breadsticks are better than Red Lobster rolls. They're coming up on the stream, but not in the chat. Five games for Doomsday. I feel like it's showing random super chats that have gone up in the past videos. Tom, you're missing out on Inish. This is really weird. All right, I'm confused. No, this has nothing to do with Roy. This is on YouTube's end of things, I think. But it's like it's just pulling random super chats from the past and putting them on the screen. Weird. Because they're definitely not showing up here in the chat. So it's like just pulling ones up from the past. Weird. All right. No, I've never done the one chip challenge. I don't feel like I'm going to. Let's see. I know I just skipped a whole pile of questions, so I'm going backwards. Do you sometimes look up old videos from your first years to see how things have changed? No, not really. I mean, I look at them sometimes, but not to see. I mean, I guess I do it occasionally. I like to look at an old thing. Sometimes it will just pop up because someone will comment on an old video. There's always somebody. If there's a comment that annoys me a lot, I almost always delete them too. Someone comes in and goes, "Hello, 240, we meet again." Like, you realize what year this review went up. It's not going now. I can't go back in time and make the quality better on those old videos. So Asmodee bought Eggertspiel and Plan B games. What do they don't own? Like most of board gaming? Just go to Kickstarter. There's tons of companies they don't own. Yes, they own most of the big popular gateway games that everyone buys, but for the most part, they do not come close to owning everything. There are hundreds and hundreds of board game companies they do not own. It is not as big of a deal. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a big deal. It's a big deal that they're buying these companies, but my word, there are tons of companies out there that are not owned by Asmodee. They do not own like a majority of the games that come out over the course of a year. So don't worry about that. I'm still confused as to why these super chats are showing up now. Daylight savings means I'll probably be missing this now, but you're here. Tom, you missed the 24 inches of snow Denver got this weekend. Oh, I didn't miss it at all. I'm perfectly fine. YouTube is doing a thing from the past. Maybe they'll start telling people about my old videos, and they can start recommending them to people again. Okay, well, I apologize again. I probably missed a bunch of questions there because of the super chat weirdness, but that's how this works. Okay, so there's nothing more live for today, but we will be live tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I'll be doing 5 more great games, and then at 3 o'clock tomorrow, the last normal, although this won't be normal, shoot the marbles. If you never watch one of our marble races, don't miss tomorrow's. And then the spring spectacular, lots of cool things in that. Still working on the schedule for that, but it's going to be fun. Is there a rhyme or reason to when timestamps are put on videos? I notice on some of the newer top 10s, they don't all have timestamps. If you know something doesn't have timestamps on, you can always email me at tom@dicetower.com, and we'll see. We're trying to put timestamps on all new videos that make sense to have them. And we're putting them in older videos, but that takes some work to go back and do that. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. It is a good day here. I'm looking forward to, well, the paperwork I'm about to go work on. But sometimes paperwork is a good thing. I'm hoping so in this case. I'm also looking for particularly the way to shut this down. Boy, my screen got all filled up with all kinds of stuff. I opened up too many things during this particular setting. Where did it go? Where did it come from? Where did it go? Let's see here. There it is. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching Q&A on the Dice Tower.